Mangoes, pineapples, strawberries, you've probably heard of them all. But some fruits are so obscure, so weird, so absolutely bizarre, that they make durian look normal. These are the most unique fruits you've never heard of. And trust me, after today, you're going to be questioning everything you thought you knew about what grows on trees. Number 20, finger lime. Okay, so you think you know limes, right? Well, think again, because the finger lime is about to blow your mind. And it's not just because of the name, which honestly sounds like something a kid would make up. This fruit comes from Australia, because of course it does. Australia has all the weird stuff. Now picture this. You cut open what looks like a tiny pickle, and inside are these little caviar-like pearls that literally pop in your mouth. I'm not kidding. They call it citrus caviar because when you bite down, these little bubbles burst with lime flavor, like tiny flavor bombs going off in your mouth. It's like nature decided to make bubble wrap edible and delicious. The finger lime has been growing wild in Australian rainforests for millions of years. But nobody really cared about it until fancy chefs discovered it. And now they're putting it on everything. One finger lime can cost you $15, which is absolutely insane when you think about it. That's more expensive than some actual meals. But hey, when you want to feel fancy, you pay fancy prices. Number 19, horned melon. Next up, we have something that looks like it was designed by aliens having a really bad day, the horned melon. This thing is so spiky and orange that it looks like a medieval weapon crossed with a Halloween decoration. Seriously, if you saw this rolling toward you, you'd probably run the other way. This spiky nightmare comes from the Kalahari Desert in Africa, and it's been around for thousands of years. The local people have been eating it forever, which really makes you wonder what they were thinking when they first encountered it. Oh look, a spiky orange ball covered in thorns. Let's eat it. But here's the kicker. The inside looks like green jello with seeds floating in it. The taste? Well, imagine if a cucumber, a lime, and a banana got into a blender accident. It's so watery that desert tribes actually use it as a water source during droughts. Talk about a multitasking fruit. You can eat it and hydrate at the same time. The only problem is getting past those spikes without looking like you wrestled with a porcupine. Number 18, yang mei. Now we're heading to China for a fruit that looks like someone took raspberries and rolled them in bumpy red Play-Doh. The yang mei, also known as the Chinese bayberry, is so weird-looking that you'd probably think it's some kind of sea creature if you found it washed up on a beach. This fruit has been popular in China for over 2,000 years. But here's the thing, it's so delicate and perishable that it barely makes it out of the regions where it's grown. We're talking about a fruit that starts going bad the moment you look at it wrong. It's like the fruit equivalent of a drama queen. The taste is supposed to be sweet and tart, kind of like a strawberry mixed with a cranberry, but with a texture that's, well, let's just say it's an acquired taste. The bumpy exterior isn't just for show. Each little bump is actually part of the fruit, and you eat the whole thing, bumps and all. It's like eating a tiny edible stress ball. Number 17, wood apple. Don't let the name fool you. The wood apple isn't actually an apple at all, and yes, it is as hard as wood. This fruit from India and Southeast Asia has a shell so tough that you literally need a hammer or a machete to crack it open. I'm not exaggerating. People actually use tools to eat this thing. The outside looks like a coconut that gave up on life, all brown and rough and uninviting. But once you crack through that fortress of a shell, you find this brown, sticky pulp that smells like, well, let's just say it's an acquired scent. Some people describe it as sweet and tangy, while others run screaming from the room. Here's the weird part. Despite smelling like feet and requiring power tools to open, wood apple is incredibly popular for making drinks and desserts in India. They mix it with milk and sugar to make shakes, and apparently it's delicious once you get past the whole smells like a gym sock thing. The fruit is also packed with nutrients, so at least all that hammering is worth something. Number 16, salak. Next up is the salak, also known as snake fruit, and one look at this thing will tell you exactly why they call it that. The skin looks like it was peeled off a python, all brown and scaly and honestly kind of creepy. If fruits had a horror movie, this would be the villain. This Southeast Asian fruit grows in clusters on palm trees, and harvesting them is like playing a very dangerous game of fruit roulette because the trees are covered in thorns. Imagine trying to pick berries from a rose bush, except the rose bush is 20 feet tall and the thorns are the size of pencils. The inside is white and crunchy, kind of like an apple, but the taste is completely unique. Some people say it tastes like pineapple mixed with banana. Others say it's more like honey with a hint of lemon. What everyone agrees on is that it's refreshing and surprisingly addictive once you get past the snakeskin exterior. Number 15. Ice cream bean. Now here's a fruit with a name that actually makes sense. The ice cream bean. This thing comes from Central and South America, and it literally tastes like vanilla ice cream. I'm not making this up. Nature somehow figured out how to make ice cream grow on trees. The fruit looks like a giant green bean pod, sometimes growing up to 2 feet long. When you crack it open, you find these big black seeds surrounded by white, fluffy pulp that tastes exactly like vanilla ice cream. It's like someone took cotton candy and made it taste like dessert. The locals have been eating this for centuries, and kids apparently go crazy for it, which makes total sense because what kid wouldn't want ice cream that grows on trees? The only downside is that the pulp is really fibrous, so you kind of have to suck on it rather than chew it. But hey, when something tastes like ice cream, you don't complain about the texture. Number 14. Monstera deliciosa. Speaking of fruits that require instruction manuals, let's talk about the Monstera deliciosa. Yes, it's the same plant that's taking over Instagram as a houseplant. But did you know it actually produces fruit? Most people don't, because the fruit is basically nature's way of playing Russian roulette with your digestive system. This fruit looks like a green corn cob covered in hexagonal scales. And here's where it gets dangerous. You absolutely cannot eat it until it's completely ripe. I'm talking 100% ripe, not close enough ripe. If you eat it too early, the oxalic acid crystals will make your mouth feel like you've been chewing on glass and sand. But if you wait for it to ripen properly, which can take up to a year, the scales fall off one by one to reveal white, creamy flesh that tastes like a mixture of pineapple, banana, and vanilla. It's so good that in some countries they make it into expensive jams and desserts, but you literally have to wait for the fruit to tell you when it's ready to eat. Number 13. Jabuticaba. Now let's head to Brazil for a fruit that grows in the most disturbing way possible, directly on the trunk of the tree. The Jabuticaba looks like the tree has some kind of weird disease where grapes are growing out of its bark. It's honestly kind of unsettling to look at. This purple-black fruit tastes like grapes, but with a more complex, wine-like flavor. Brazilians are absolutely obsessed with it and use it to make everything from wine to jam to candy. The problem is that the fruit is so perishable that it starts fermenting almost immediately after being picked. We're talking about a fruit that literally cannot be exported because it goes bad faster than a celebrity marriage. You have to eat it within 3 days of picking, or it turns into grape wine right there in your hand. This is why you've probably never heard of it. It's impossible to get unless you're standing next to the tree when it's harvested. Number 12. African horned cucumber. Wait, didn't we already cover this? No, that was the horned melon. This is the African horned cucumber, and yes, they're different. And yes, it's confusing. This one is even weirder because it's technically a cucumber, but grows like a melon and tastes like, well, nobody can really agree on what it tastes like. This spiky yellow-orange fruit looks like it belongs in a Tim Burton movie. The inside is bright green with white seeds, and the taste is described everything from cucumber mixed with lime, to banana mixed with kiwi, to disappointment mixed with confusion. It's like nature couldn't decide what it wanted this fruit to be, so it just threw a bunch of flavors in a blender and hoped for the best. The strangest part is that despite looking absolutely terrifying, this fruit is actually really good for you. It's packed with antioxidants and has almost no calories, which makes it perfect for health nuts who want to eat something that looks like it could fight back. Number 11. Surinam cherry. The Surinam cherry isn't actually a cherry at all, which is already confusing enough, but it gets weirder. This fruit looks like a tiny pumpkin that someone squished into the shape of a Chinese lantern. It comes in colors ranging from bright red to deep purple to almost black, and each color has a completely different taste. This South American fruit has the most bizarre texture. It's simultaneously juicy and resinous, kind of like biting into a pine-scented water balloon. Some varieties are sweet and pleasant, while others are so tart they'll make your face turn inside out. The problem is you can't tell which is which just by looking at them. The fruit is also incredibly fragrant. with a smell that's part tropical fruit, part pine forest, and part something you can't quite identify. Some people love it, others can't stand it, and there's really no middle ground. It's like the cilantro of the fruit world. You either love it or you think it tastes like soap. Number 10. Chocolate vine fruit. Now here's a fruit with a name that gets your hopes up, the chocolate vine fruit. Unfortunately, it doesn't actually taste like chocolate, which is honestly false advertising. This purple pod-like fruit comes from East Asia and looks like a plump eggplant that someone left in the sun too long. The fruit splits open naturally when ripe, revealing white, translucent flesh with black seeds scattered throughout. The taste is mild and sweet, kind of like a very subtle melon, but the texture is weird and slippery. It's like eating flavored Jell-O that someone forgot to add enough gelatin to. What makes this fruit interesting isn't the taste. It's the fact that every part of the plant is edible. The young shoots taste like asparagus. The flowers can be eaten raw or cooked, and the roots can be used to make tea. It's like nature's version of a buffet restaurant, except everything tastes vaguely disappointing. Number 9. Buddha's hand citron. The Buddha's hand citron looks like someone took a lemon and put it through a paper shredder. This citrus fruit is all rind and no flesh, literally. There's no juice, no pulp, no seeds, just fragrant yellow skin that's been split into finger-like segments. This fruit originated in India and was brought to China by Buddhist monks, which explains the name. It became a symbol of happiness and longevity, probably because it lasts forever, since there's nothing inside to rot. It's like the fruit equivalent of a scented candle. The entire fruit is edible, and it's incredibly fragrant with a strong lemon-lime scent. People use it to flavor dishes, make tea, or just keep around the house as a natural air freshener. The weird part is that cleaning one of these things takes about 30 minutes because of all the nooks and crannies between the fingers. It's like trying to wash a very expensive, very fragrant octopus. Number 8. Rambai. The rambai is a small round fruit from Southeast Asia that looks innocent enough until you realize it's covered in a fuzzy skin that feels like velvet. This yellow-brown fruit grows in clusters and has the most unusual texture. The skin is soft and fuzzy, while the inside is firm and crunchy. The taste is mildly sweet and sour, kind of like a grape mixed with an apple. But what makes it weird is that you eat the whole thing, skin and all. The fuzzy exterior doesn't come off. You just bite into it like a very unusual apple. It's like eating a peach that forgot to develop properly. What's strange is that despite being relatively unknown outside of its native region, the rambai is incredibly popular with wildlife. Monkeys, birds, and other animals go crazy for it, which is usually a good sign that a fruit is worth trying. If it's good enough for a monkey, it's probably good enough for you. Number 7. Cupuaçu. From the Amazon rainforest comes the cupuaçu, a fruit so important to Brazil that they made it their national fruit. This football-sized brown pod contains white pulp that tastes like a mixture of chocolate, pineapple, and banana, which sounds like the perfect fruit smoothie ingredient. The locals use every part of this fruit, the pulp for desserts and drinks, the seeds for cooking oil and beauty products, and even the shell for crafts. It's like the Swiss Army knife of fruits. The taste is so unique and delicious that Brazil has actually tried to patent it internationally, which led to some interesting legal battles over who owns the rights to a fruit that grows wild in the jungle. The only problem with cupuaçu is that it's incredibly difficult to process. The pulp clings to the seeds like it's afraid to let go, and separating them requires special equipment. It's like the fruit is trying to protect itself from being turned into dessert, which is probably a smart evolutionary strategy. Number 6. Miracle fruit. The miracle fruit is small, red, and completely unremarkable looking, but it has a superpower that makes it one of the weirdest fruits in the world. After eating just one berry, everything sour tastes sweet for the next hour or two. Lemons taste like candy, vinegar tastes like fruit juice, and grapefruit becomes dessert. This West African fruit contains a protein called miraculin that binds to your taste buds and literally changes how you perceive sour flavors. It's like having a real-life magic potion that transforms your mouth into a candy factory. People have flavor-tripping parties where they eat miracle fruit and then try all kinds of sour foods just to experience the weirdness. The fruit has also been studied as a potential treatment for diabetes, since it can make healthy but sour foods taste sweet without adding any actual sugar. It's like nature's way of tricking you into eating better. which is honestly pretty clever when you think about it. Number 5. Langsat. The langsat looks like a small potato crossed with a grape, with thin, pale yellow skin that peels off in sections. This Southeast Asian fruit grows in clusters and has translucent white flesh that's divided into segments like a citrus fruit, but it's not citrus at all. The taste is mildly sweet with a slight tartness, kind of like a very mild grapefruit without the bitterness. Some segments have seeds, others don't, and you never know which is which until you bite into them. It's like playing fruit roulette with your teeth. What makes Langsat weird is that the tree can produce fruit year-round, but only if conditions are exactly right. Too much rain and the fruit rots, too little and it doesn't develop properly. The trees are basically the divas of the fruit world, requiring perfect conditions to perform properly. Number 4. Atemoya. The Atemoya is what happens when you crossbreed a sugar apple with a Cherimoya, which sounds like something a mad scientist would do in a fruit laboratory. This hybrid fruit looks like a green hand grenade covered in bumps and scales, and it's just as explosive flavor-wise. The inside is white, creamy, and incredibly sweet, with a taste that's been described as nature's ice cream. The texture is smooth and custard-like, and the flavor is a complex mixture of vanilla, pineapple, and banana. It's like someone took all the best dessert flavors and stuffed them into one fruit. The only problem is that Atemoya is incredibly high maintenance. The fruit has to be perfectly ripe to taste good. Too early and it's hard and flavorless. Too late and it turns into mush. You literally have a window of about 24 hours when it's perfect, which makes it the fruit equivalent of a soufflé. Number 3. Jackfruit. Okay, so maybe you've heard of jackfruit because it's become trendy as a meat substitute. But have you ever actually eaten a fresh one? These things are massive. We're talking fruits that can weigh up to 80 pounds and grow directly on the trunk of the tree like some kind of fruit tumor. The smell is, well, let's just say it's distinctive. Some people describe it as sweet and fruity. Others say it smells like rotting onions mixed with turpentine. It's so pungent that it's banned from many hotels and public transportation in Southeast Asia. Imagine a fruit so smelly that it has its own no-fly list. But here's the thing. Once you get past the smell and the fact that it's the size of a small child, jackfruit is actually delicious. The flesh is sweet and has a texture like pulled pork, which is why vegans love it. Each fruit contains hundreds of seeds that can also be eaten when cooked, making it like a meal and dessert all in one giant, smelly package. Number 2. Cherimoya. The Cherimoya, also known as the custard apple, looks like a green artichoke that someone squeezed too hard. This South American fruit has been called the most delicious fruit known to man by no less than Mark Twain, which is quite an endorsement from someone who knew his way around good food. The inside is white, creamy, and incredibly sweet, with a flavor that's like a mixture of banana, pineapple, and vanilla custard. The texture is so smooth and creamy that you eat it with a spoon like ice cream. It's basically nature's version of a dessert that happens to be healthy for you. The only downside is that Cherimoya contains compounds that can be toxic if you eat too much of it. We're talking about a fruit so delicious that it can literally be dangerous in large quantities. It's like nature's way of saying, yes, this tastes amazing, but don't get carried away. The seeds are also toxic, so you have to be careful not to swallow them, which makes eating it feel like a delicious but potentially deadly game. Number 1. Durian. And finally, we have the king of weird fruits, durian. This Southeast Asian fruit is so polarizing that it's literally banned from hotels, airports, and public transportation because of its smell. We're talking about a fruit that's so controversial, it needs its own warning signs. Durian looks like a medieval weapon crossed with a football, covered in spikes that can literally puncture skin. The smell has been described as everything from sewage mixed with turpentine to gym socks filled with rotting fish. It's so intense that some people gag just from being in the same room as an open durian. But here's the crazy part. People who love durian absolutely worship it. They describe the taste as creamy, custard-like, with hints of almond and vanilla. The texture is rich and buttery, almost like eating savory ice cream. It's packed with nutrients and is considered an aphrodisiac in some cultures, which really makes you wonder about the connection between smell and romance. The fruit is so revered in Southeast Asia that it's called the king of fruits, and people will pay hundreds of dollars for a single perfect durian. There are durian festivals, durian ice cream, durian pizza, and even durian-flavored condoms, which seems like it defeats the purpose, but hey, to each their own. What did you think of these exotic fruits? Are you brave enough to try any of them? Or are you perfectly happy sticking with your basic apples and oranges? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to check out the other amazing content. Until next time, keep exploring the weird and wonderful world around us.